Hello everyone, this is Andrew at Andrew Peche Photography, and today's topic is why does ambient suck so bad? So I should note here at the beginning that when I say ambient, I'm not talking about like window light streaming through a window. You know, that sounds like great light to me, but for this discussion today, I'm talking about ambient light. For example, like in this photo right here, where we're just getting light from these bulbs in the ceiling and in this chandelier here. So that's the ambient light I'm talking about. And why is it so inferior, in my opinion, to, light from a flash? All right. So I chose this specific photo because there was no other light coming from behind me in this particular bathroom. So all the light from this particular photo right here is from this quote unquote ambient light coming from these ceiling cans and this chandelier right here. All right. And then I took a flash shot at a little bit faster shutter speed, and that's what I got. So I'm gonna get in here, we're gonna get into ACR and just make some adjustments on these just so we can see what's the differences between them. Okay, so here we are in Adobe Camera Raw, and I'm just gonna do be as fair as I can and do the same exact thing to both files. Okay, so and then we're gonna compare the two. And since a lot of you may have thought intuitively that the fact this bathroom is lit only by one light source, there's no mixing light, right? Like we have in our other interiors work, like the blue light coming in and the warm light. There's no mixing light in here. So a lot of you might think, oh, well, light from this source is fine. But the truth is, we're going to get in here and check it out and see if it compares to light from our flash. So we're just going to white balance off that particular spot, and I'm not going to touch anything else. And we're going to do this to the other photo so it'll be fair. And I'm going to just get this exposure up to the point where I think it's reasonable. Somewhere in there might be good. And just to be fair, maybe the peak is maybe right. Maybe a little bit, the main peak is a little bit to the right of that 1/6. Okay, so we'll try and do the same thing for the other image. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing to the flashed image. This image was just flashed right above the camera, and we're just gonna white balance. I'll go ahead and pull this down a little bit. We're just gonna white balance right in the same area. We're not gonna do much. We're just gonna touch the exposure, right? And to be fair, I'll try and get that exposure right about in the same area, that peak right about in the same area. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and try and compare these two, like the differences between these two files. Okay, so here we are in a photo viewer, and we're just looking at the ambient shot that we just created in Adobe Camera Raw, and this is the one that's only lit by these ambient lights up here. Okay, and as you can see, you're gonna have to maybe compare it to get a better feel, but in my opinion, the colors come out relatively dull. There's not the same amount of luster in like these golden fixtures. The color in the wall is a little dull green. Just in general, you can look around. The floor even comes out a lot more vibrant in the flash image. So I'll go ahead and put up the flash image for you now, and you can compare it. And just in general, having this as a starting point just feels like a lot, more options for me. Okay, we're getting a lot more luster, a lot more, I'd say, truer colors, and also more vibrant and richer colors, okay, with this flash frame. And it extends even all the way down to the floor and everything. Okay, if I jump back, it's in general, it's a lot duller to me. And I think, what this has to do with is, one way to look at it is color rendering index is, if you have a light source like the sun or like a flash that's kind of simulating light from the sun, a flash does that, it's a lot cleaner and more color accurate light. Okay, when we have these frames that are lit by ambient, like incandescent or whatever type of bulbs they are, who knows nowadays because they're getting switched out so much, but the light just isn't as true. It's not as vibrant, and it's not as, you're not going to be able to push this particular file as much, in my opinion, as you will this one, because the colors are already starting off at a certain, level of intensity, and they're more vibrant just to start off. Okay. Another thing to note is the light up here. You know, this is really kind of an unprofessional look, in my opinion, when you're having to expose for the scene using these, you know, the ambient light in the room. What's going to happen in general is your ambient lights, the light source is going to blow out, okay, because you're just having to do that, all right? And, you know, if we look at the flash frame, you know, it's a lot more professional, and that, you know, this is all well exposed. These are all well exposed. And so we're able to have a lot of control over those light sources, all right? So that would be another reason why the flash is very, it's optimal, okay? It's a lot better, and it has a lot of advantages over those straight ambient frames, okay? And one last advantage I'll just touch on is the fact that, you know, in this particular example, it's a little confined, but I could have bounced my light up and to the left. I could have bounced my light up and to the right, or I could have done some other type of compositing. But the point is, with your flash frames, you have a lot of options. With the ambient, right, we can't like move a chandelier. We can't move these can lights, right? So it's a lot easier to control your flash. So this and the other reasons we spoke about are all the reasons that I feel ambient sucks, okay? All right, guys, that's it for today. I thank you for tuning in. If you ever have a question, feel free to shoot me off an email at petjphotography@gmail.com. It's a good way for me to put up some new YouTube videos. And I'll also mention that if you run over to my website at petjphoto.com, you know you're in the right spot if it looks something like that. I'm doing a blog specifically about real estate photography tutorials now. This is kind of a new thing. I'm transitioning my blog to solely concentrate on tutorials for other real estate photographers, okay? So feel free to subscribe to the blog. There's, you know, little options for you to do that there. And also the YouTube channel, because, you know, you can keep up to date that way as well, on YouTube or the blog, all right, or both, okay? All right, thank you once again for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.